in Toronto, or you go to the grocery shops, you see organic food. The prices are very high. And then the inorganic food are for the poor people, because you can't afford the organic food.
What we see across the world is an emerging health and food and environmental crisis. We see the globalization of foods, which is coded language for the westernization of foods. Cheap food, industrial foods are taking over people's diets, they're taking over people's landscapes.
Because somebody is telling you to produce something different. When I was growing up, my grandmother was doing canton. Kara, that is wet corn, they will use, when they just harvest it, they will use it with this, no plastic, those, all these plastics they are having, they are using these cola nut leaves to wrap it. How come? Where are we here? Because it is about policy.
Indigenous food such as wasa-wasa, tubani, gabli, sunkwila, and even TZ from millet are now becoming extinct.
So TZ is beginning to be something that only poor people rather eat TZ, right? Poor people eat TZ. If you are rich, you eat fried rice and pizza.
They were once farmed and cooked in rural areas and marketed to a small but rising number of people who were aware of the nutritional and environmental benefits. This emerging sector potentially built long food chains, leaving the food system dependent on global food imports. As weather patterns change, this has resulted in greater food unavailability in some communities.
And then local drinks as well as foreign drinks and pastries and things. So this is poha. We tried it last night in our dinner.
A study conducted by Dr. Sarah Veselo, assistant professor at the University of Toronto, on the impact of globalizing local and urban food systems on food security, calls on local and national decision makers to promote and safeguard indigenous food systems and the biodiversity they protect.
Where I come from in Canada, our food system has been transformed in the name of profit and not to feed people. So the only people who can afford food that is nutritious, that is not toxic, that is culturally appropriate, are wealthier people. And all of the industrial foods in the West are considered cheap foods, like KFC is a poor man's food in Canada, for example. And even foods that come from my traditional background in Italy, like pizza, have become fast foods in Canada where I live and in America and other places. So we see as globalization, importation of foods, but also as farmers shape their landscapes to cater to that diet, to cater to profit and not people and not the planet, not their environment. We see emergence of the loss of these traditional foods or foods that tend to be more nutritious, more diverse, more agrobiodiverse, which is good for the environment.
Dr. Veselo wants Ghanaians to hold on to their traditional foods.
And so I believe that you should hold on to these foods which are based on history, based on your place, that are satisfying to people, that are nutritious and diverse, and then also in line with the environmental context. Instead of trading your agrarian system and your dietary system for things that are foreign. So that's why I think you should hold on to them.
Professor Jasper Abimbia of UDS College of Communication and Media Studies is at the forefront of efforts to ensure that existing policy to improve access to indigenous food is implemented.
Because we are almost losing our food culture, because everywhere you go, people are interested in what? Maggi, cooking with Maggi. So you go to the village, if there's no Maggi, the woman is not going to cook. And I'm asking, what happens to Dawa Dawa? This kind of links to the dispossession of people's food cultures.
Sumani Ibrahim, Municipal Crop Officer of the Savilgu Department of Agric, says indigenous foods are essential because they can withstand challenges.
We were almost eating everything organic because there were no such synthetic chemicals that was applied to our food products. They were not using fertilizers. it was only the advent of maize cultivation into our systems, food systems, that called for the use of even fertilizers and some rice. We had millet, we had sorghum, we had bambara granules, we had bulbifera, we call it furgma in Dagbani, we had piha, and that is frafra potatoes. So many indigenous food substances which does not require the use of this kajan, that is adwa. It doesn't call for the use of chemicals, fertilizer, no insecticides, and all those have enumerated. It doesn't need any of such inputs to be applied, and those were what they were producing. We were producing and eating at that time. Because of that, they used not to fall sick so often like we do. We have all hospitals and then treatment centers full of sick people.
Muhammad Al-Hassan Seidu, a farmer from Savilgo, feels the same way.
Empowering farmers, and nobody, those people who are causing the mess, they will never empower the farmers. I'm a farmer. My children now, they are graduates. I've told them that they should come and start speaking for farmers. That's the only way. Because all the foods you are talking about, who produces adwa? Is adwa not a valuable crop? Who is producing it? Everybody is trying to soya bean. Because somebody is just telling them, go there, go there, go there. You understand it? I decided, I went to Andu, Cheripuni area. I tried to adopt a village to produce fonio. I piloted some at the animals and their fields there because the residue, animals will take it and system. It was successful. But who is going to promote? They are not interested. They are not interested. And these are all organic things because one, from the seed, organic production starts from seed. And these farmers, when even to bring the seed, they told me that for us, we don't sell the seed. They have values. They told me that we can't sell seed to you. The people of Andu in Cheripuni, they told me we can't sell the seed to you. We can, if you want, you can only exchange it or you bring us a fowl. So you can see this, and they gave me the seed. I came, it did well.
Scientists recommend, among other things, revitalizing local food production system at the household level, developing laws to promote and support farmers, and promote agro-biodiversity and agroecological practices to improve livelihoods through food and nutrition security. A report by Nurudeen.
Again, what is the food system? It's about production, availability, prices, vendors,